What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. Welcome to the RNEWS Evening Show. And let's just jump into it. From r/World News. Barbados to remove Queen Elizabeth II as head of state and declare republic. The time has come to fully leave our colonial past behind, says PM. She doesn't even go here. Her yacht was there once. I think Chuck and I took it for a spin back in the day. Her Navy ships was there once delivering aid and assistance though. Makes up for her not visiting, I guess. Well, Charles visited Grenada and their vote on the monarchy was instantly scrapped. www.express.co.uk. A lot of the Caribbean actually doesn't want to become a republic. They prefer their status with the UK as it is. Edit. A vote to remove QE2 would need 2/3 in Parliament and population support. I doubt it would pass and has been proposed before with no success. March, is Lisa at Camp Grenada? I think the British monarchy will slowly fade once Elizabeth exits the aircraft. There is absolutely zero chance that Canada puts Charles on the $20 bill. Bold of you to assume she's going to die before Charles. This ancient Photoshop for a day sums it up nicely. So, in another 40 years, she's only staying alive to spite Charles. Once he passes, she'll follow quite quickly. Satisfied at a job well done. Barbados, Barbados exit. Barbados. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/Politics. Ohio judge blows up GOP plan to allow only one ballot box in each county. The limitation in the battleground state is arbitrary and unreasonable, the court said. A directive that restricted Ohio counties to one ballot drop box in November was arbitrary and unreasonable, a county judge ruled Tuesday, delivering the Republican Secretary of State in the presidential battleground another in a series of blows to his policies. Because in what conceivable scenario would restricting the number of places people vote ever be freaking reasonable? Republicans tried the same bullcrap in Wisconsin a couple years ago. They sought to only have one early voting place per municipality. Bumblefrick. Why with 427 residents? One early voting place. Milwaukee. Why with 600,000 residents? One early voting place. Traditionally it's always been Republicans suppressing votes in places, Clark said at the event. Let's start protecting our voters. We know where they are. Let's start playing offense a little bit. That's what you're going to see in 2020. It's going to be a much bigger program. A much more aggressive program. A much better funded program. Justin Clark, a senior political advisor and senior counsel to Trump's re-election campaign. Ohio Dems, we need to take this state back. The one ballot box was to be in the bottom of a locked filing cabinet stuck in a disused lavatory, with a sign on the door saying, "Beware of the leopard." You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. Trump wants to jail WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to keep him quiet, extradition hearing told. You want to jail the guy who helped you win the 2016 election. Let's see how well it works out. Not bipolar, just a double-crosser. Trump made his business by stabbing backs and backing out of promises. Why would his political career be any different? This is a defense lawyer's conjecture, not a statement from the prey. Assange's defense lawyer at an extradition hearing who is laying a case for why the US wants to have Assange extradited to the US and keep Assange locked up. U.S. lawyer Eric Lewis claimed rumors Mr. Trump had been aided by foreign powers in the 2016 election continued to be viewed by the American leader as undermining his legitimacy. According to his witness statement presented to Assange's extradition hearing. In his statement, Mr. Lewis said, the prosecution of Julian Assange is part of Trump's efforts to distract attention from the help that WikiLeaks gave to focus attention on the earlier leaks, which are much more politically potent for him. He wants to put Mr. Assange in jail and keep him quiet. Under cross-examination at the Old Bailey on Tuesday, Mr. Lewis was challenged on his statement about Mr. Trump. I'm putting to you it's just conjecture. Mr. Lewis. Why can't this sub have editors? How many people are going to read the headline but not this comment? It's almost as bad as Facebook news. This is nonsense. The warrants predates Trump's political career. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/News. 29 German police suspended for sharing pictures of Hitler. Others are accused of failing to report their colleagues. That sounds like a good approach. Well, it's like if you punish not just the bad apples, but the good apples who don't report the bad apples. You have incentives to remove the bad apples, instead of letting them spoil the whole bunch. It's the same thing they do in basic training. If one person freaks up, everyone gets punished. Do that enough times and the group becomes self-correcting. Edit. To everyone thinking I mean a soap party. You guys watch too much FMJ. That crap doesn't actually happen, and can result in court-martial. The friendship between Joker and Pyle is far closer to the kind of correction I'm talking about. Other recruits would help motivate the ones without motivation. It doesn't mean violence. The only violent thing I ever saw was when someone didn't want to get out of bed for changing. Firewatch. Dude got dragged out of his rack because his relief wanted to go to bed. Or it makes them more likely to cover for those who freak up. Look at that. They didn't report their co-workers and they're also being disciplined. What a novel idea. American cops are terrified at the thought of accountability. And that's why we should do to every cop that shows up with a thin blue line flag. It's a desecration of my flag, turning something beautiful into a hate symbol. Frick every single person that sports it. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. Kushner Village tenants sue to block paying rent until fire system concerns are met. Till there is a village named after President's son-in-law. Yeah, he's a slumlord. There is a documentary on Netflix about him, you should check it out. Edit. The show is Dirty Money, and the episode is called Slumlord Millionaire. He's a slumlord, it's a family tradition. Although to be fair, his great-granddaughter got started in brothels. Indeed, we all know how much conservatives value tradition. Honestly, nobody gets rich doing honest work. Some of the prominent liberal families who've got their names on swanky buildings at top universities got their money selling opium during the Opium Wars. If you could get rich doing honest work, nobody would be poor. I'm more concerned about a fire starting now than I used to be, said Daniel Corvin, who has lived in one of the buildings for about 35 years and is a plaintiff in the lawsuit. The sprinkler in the hallway is outside my unit. They're not even capped. They're an open pipe, he said. There's no water in the pipes. They're collecting millions of dollars in rent on these people, while they live in a fire trap. Each of these properties has been certified by the NYC department. Well, someone has some splaining to do. Let's see if the system is remotely functional. This predatory corporation blatantly broke the law. Will the state hold them accountable? You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. U.S. nurses ask feds to invoke Defense Production Act for N95 masks. Survey finds unacceptable reuse levels. Nurse here, still using the same 4 that I got in April. You work for a crap tier company then. They are available if your bosses say otherwise, they just don't want to buy N. I wore mine till the straps broke. Small alligator clips like these keep my broken straps connected. They won't last forever, but I've at least doubled the life of my mask. Edit. As you, Habib_Zozad points out below. This fix is not appropriate if the strap has broken off of the mask itself. Reattaching the strap with an alligator clip, or staple or anything else I can think of, would certainly compromise the fit and integrity of the mask. This works only when the break is between 2 sections of strap, meaning you only need to overlap the 2 sections and then clamp them together to hold. I know the nurses and other healthcare workers should be the priority, but something I don't hear anyone talking about is all the other professions that rely on N95 masks for a safe work environment. At my work there are high levels of organic dust and it is extremely damaging to lung tissue. I've been using the same N95 mask since February and they are only rated for 8 hours of use. Every day that I work without a new N95 I am putting myself further at risk. I can only imagine this is the same for a lot of other trade jobs. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, and if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.